tremendously excited, and I think that's why I'm here today, to have built Madata with my two co-founders. Co-founders also who are very well versed. One is very strong in the commercial space, marketing and advertising, working with Mishie, who's our CTO, and working with Jeansarah Wanjiru, who's our COO. We've built Madata, which looks to solve for organizations the biggest headache and the biggest pain point that they have in marketing, measuring and optimizing their marketing spend and how to allocate that. We are solving a problem for Africa, testing in Kenya, and hoping that eventually we'll be the go-to platform for the emerging markets.
And how would you say that you're able to do that? Walk us through a bit about the solutions that you're providing at MyData and the problem you're solving for.
Okay. So we're very different. Today, if you look at marketing and how it's measured, it's very fragmented and siloed. Okay? You're able to measure your digital separately. You're able to measure your traditional, which includes your out of homes, your experiential marketing, and your media.
Yes.
All that is siloed. And no organization at the moment is able to have one dashboard where you have a 360 overview of how you're performing on that. I've sat in many rooms where millions of dollars are spent, but there's a problem in terms of how are you allocating and how are you able to realize the maximum out of your marketing spend, which is what we're solving for Kenya and Africa. We're currently piloting and testing with key markets, FMCG, finance, and telcos, and a lot of good response and stickiness because it's actually a pain point. Back to my life in the corporate world, across all the markets that I worked in, very diverse, very different consumer behavior, media behavior, and media consumption. As you know, here in Africa also, we're very slow to growing into the digital space. We are growing,
yes,
and the AI space. We are very slow in growing that. More developed markets and mature markets are already right in it.
Yes.
Okay? So we're measuring for digital, but we're not measuring for everything, including traditional, which is what our tool does for you. And the value we bring to you is we're able to actually be predictive in our analytics and tell you what is working and what is not. So as opposed to what is traditionally happening today, where you guess. It's a gut feeling. Marketing, as you know, is more based on creativity and intuition and a gut feeling.
Yes.
We are then bringing data and analytics and predictive data into the game so that you're able to avoid wastage and increase your efficiencies and manage your costs better. We also benchmarked with key competitors in the mature markets, and what they're doing better than us, we'll get there, but they're doing this a lot better than us, is being able to measure how they're doing their marketing for optimization of their spend, okay? So where I see the future of marketing is data. It's data-driven and decisions that are really driven by information that comes out of the data. What is the data saying to you and what do you need to do? What is the data saying about the consumer? What is the data saying about the media trends and adopting that? And I really believe actually that organizations that adopt that mindset will lead the next era of how marketing is conducted globally. And at the end of the day, we'll be more successful than the rest who decide to wait. What I like about Madata is that our product is very size agnostic. So we can work from your micro organization to your large corporate, and we will just tailor and customize how our tool works for maximum benefit. And if you ask me, I think the SMEs need us more. As you know, Africa is more SME-led.
Yes.
So really, if we can help SMEs drive the economy a lot faster and better and save money and make money, and then, the it trickles down to employment, it affects the economy, it affects everyday life, it affects our spending power, and that's where I see Madata playing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As someone who works in marketing, there's a couple of things that I find interesting in what you've said. Mm-hmm. I also agree that is the biggest pain point that even my clients express in the lack of being able to measure almost everything in marketing, PR, communications, they're all interconnected. But also, I still see the value and importance of marketing in a way that cannot always be measured, because depending on the different things that you're trying to communicate, right? Yep. And so there are things that you've just launched, you need maybe 3 months of maybe brand awareness, and you can try and do link clicks that you're tracking from social media, but an influencer can post a video and how you're going to track that is through link clicks, but not every only 5 people out of the 100,000 people that have reached the influencer can be tracked as have clicked the link. And so I feel there are things in marketing that are innately immeasurable, but still are super important in your marketing initiatives. And so where can we find the balance between both? And, what do you think about that?
Yeah, agreed, 100%. And I think all that depends on, the customer journey funnel.
Yes.
What is your objective? Which is also what Madata identifies. We correlate our recommendations to your core KPIs. So it could be brand awareness, it could be customer acquisition, it could be market share growth, it could be sales revenues, and all that determines the approach that we recommend to you. So if you're looking for awareness, for example, which is right at the top of the customer journey, oh yes, you're not too bothered about measurement. You're not too bothered about all the metrics. But as you go lower, all the way down into conversion, then you're bothered about measurement.
Absolutely.
You're bothered about how are you converting vis-a-vis your KPIs, and your ROMI, which is your return on marketing investment. You want to know, I spent this much, and this is what I got in return. And I think the struggle today for C-suite executives and CMOs is justifying how they spend marketing budgets and how they allocate it. Because guesswork is not going to work anymore. People want more transparency and accountability in marketing, which is what we're giving to our customers. So yes, I agree with you. If it's a PR initiative, you're not too bothered about measurement. But if it's a metric that needs to correlate to your KPIs, you then want to measure. Which is what is not happening. And you don't want to measure in silos and in a fragmented way. You want to measure on one dashboard, which is what the value we bring to organizations.
And have you launched the product yet?
Oh yeah, we have an MVP at the moment.
Oh, lovely.
We have an MVP. We're working with, I think I mentioned, blue chip organizations. It's a lot of data sets we're exchanging. It's a lot of back and forth. We're iterating, pivoting, remember? It's a thing. So we're pivoting, we're iterating, and customer is king. We're really listening to what is the real pain point for the customer. What does the customer want of our tool? And we're building around that. The cost of waiting is higher than the cost of starting, okay? And then do not undermine the power of the relationships you have made along the journey. I am where I am today because of my network. You know how they say your network is your network?
Yes.
That has never been more true for me in this space.
You think so?
Everything I do today is because of people I have met along my journey. They've opened doors for me. They've made it possible for me to do what I do. They've coached me. They've mentored me. So relationship building.
What's actually interesting is just remembering how I met you as well.
Yes. Interesting.
We were having a meeting with one of my now clients, and just that quick, hi, how are you? And you told me what you do. You're in tech marketing, and immediately it was a really good connection. But also, I also am an advocate for loose ties usually make the best connections sometimes.
Yes. And another thing, if you'll allow me, is sometimes it's not even the people who are your inner circle who change your life. I mean, look at me and you.
Yes.
We're just connected. We didn't know each other from anywhere. But here we are. Absolutely. So sometimes be open to meeting new people and to just building new relationships as well.
Yes. It may not be for now, but 2 years later, you'll remember a guy that you talked to. And not to
say that you're using people, because that's also not what you're doing. But hey, you want to know that whoever you meet in your life sometimes may impact your future.
Yes. Yeah. And just to speak on that part of using, I wouldn't classify it as using. Yeah. I think relationships are somewhat transactional. I don't know if that's the right word, but you're probably relating with someone or a friend with someone because there's value you're getting from being with that person as they you. So if you have connections with people, and if you're in a position to help someone with your loose tie or the loose connections that you have, because you'll find so many of them as you grow in your career, then do so, because a time will come where you're going to be needing that, and you would like the same kind of courtesy.
Well put, well said. So I call it hand-holding.
Yes.
Yeah? Somebody hand-held me to be where I am. I should do the same.
Yeah.
You know? So it's giving back. It's really giving back.
It is a form of giving back.
It's a form of giving back.
And
you know, open doors for others, because even for us to be here, people open doors for us to be here.
Literally.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
So yes, I agree, totally.
Yeah.
And don't gatekeep.
Don't gatekeep. It doesn't help, because a time will come that person you're gatekeeping from, you'll need them. even especially when you decide to pivot and be an entrepreneur.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
You knock on doors
Those
that you never even
messages
thought
you are
you'd knock on.
ghosting, yeah, just talk to them now.
I can write a whole book about that. I can write a whole book about that.
We'll bring you for part
It couldn't
2.
be truer. It couldn't be truer. Yes.
It couldn't be truer.
Yeah.
All right.